Okay, my name is Ashley Caesar Durham. I'm 21 years old. You know what, let's include this. I'm a senior broadcast communications major at Westminster College. It's been a great 3 years, not really ready to give it up. But I grew up in southwestern PA most of my entire life, most of it, with the exception of a year. And I came from a very standard home. Mom, dad, younger sister. I'm the oldest of two. We had a lot of pets growing up. I went to your average public school growing up. It was, well, I did trade schools a lot, but that was due to just different moving situations, and went to college. I'm a very basic person, I guess. Growing up, I always kind of felt like an oddball, not gonna lie. I knew I was different, and I couldn't figure out why. And that's hard, I think, on any kid. Even growing up in our generation, nobody likes to be different. You know, we say we do, but it's hard to be different when you know you are. You don't want to be picked on, you don't want to be teased, but I was, because I was different, you know. But it could have been my behavior, it could have been the way I dressed, it could have been anything. I was just always different, and I really didn't figure out why until I was about 12. I was about 12, and that's when I realized I was gay. So that was kind of a big reveal for 12. Since the age of 12, I've identified as a member of the LGTBQ community. That's the lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual questioning community. I'm an L, for those who don't know. I'm now 21 and can honestly say that my education in this culture has been limited. It wasn't until I had age that I found out about a Pride festival held 35 minutes from my home in the city of Pittsburgh. This film shows my experience at Pride, my chance to see a world that I have always considered myself a part of but didn't really know much about. This is what happened when I went over the rainbow. Every year, Pride parades are held around the world to celebrate the LGTBQ community. Here in the States, celebrations are normally held around June to observe the Stonewall riots of 1969, which took place in Greenwich Village in New York City. The city of Pittsburgh holds a week-long event full of festivities, including the annual Pride Parade, which sees a crowd of over 60,000 people. So going to this event for the first time was a pretty big deal for me. Now that we've been introduced, I guess I should tell you a little bit more about myself, and how I got started on this journey. When I think about it, and I know this sounds cliche, but we have to go back to when I was a kid. When I really think about it and really look back, I've always known. There was a way I looked at boys, and there was a way I looked at girls, and it was very different. I knew it wasn't what all the other girls I was around were thinking. I liked boys because I was told that's what I was supposed to like. My parents told me that one day I'd grow up and marry a man and we'd have kids, and that's what I was. And that's not their fault. They don't exactly train you to be gay. Your parents don't really do that. They don't give you that as an option, and not because it's wrong, but because it's not standard. And I knew that I wasn't thinking that way growing up. I couldn't find a way to properly define myself, and I didn't know how to ask either. I grew up in a very Italian Catholic area, and if you are gay, you're talked about. And I wasn't ready to be a rumor, so I hid it. I hid who I was and did not come out to really anybody until college. So it's a really long process.
When did your family find out?
Well, it depends on which family member you talk to. My mother does not know that I'm gay. Almost no one outside of my immediate family knows. I only have 2 family members that are 100% aware of who I am, and it's my father and my younger sister. With my dad, it's not a funny story, but looking back, it kind of makes me laugh. I was 19, and we were in Grove City shopping to buy me clothes for, I worked at a Boy Scout camp, ironically enough. But I wasn't out, so it was no big deal. And we were on our way home from Grove City. It's about a 45-minute drive. And I remember talking to my friend Daniel Stevenson, and he said, when the time is right, you just know that it's time to tell them. You know that it's right. He came out in a KFC drive-thru. So it's just one of those things where, like, when it comes down to it, you just know this is the moment I'm ready to be myself with my father or with my mother. And with him, it was in that moment. I remember being in the car, and I remember thinking in my head, first of all, he can't kick me out of the car. Like, we're going 65, you know, he can't just boot me out of the car, so this feels like a good moment. And I said, Dad, I think I'm gay. And he said, you think or you know? And I said, I know I'm gay. And he took a really deep breath, and he just continued to just stare blankly out of the windshield. And then he hugged me. And he said, I've kind of always known. I've been waiting for you to tell me. I've been waiting for you to just kind of tell me. And I remember just crying and getting emotional about it. And it was just a lot of, I don't understand, but if it's who you are, then I'm going to try my best.
So where did this journey begin? Well, the week kicked off on a rainy day in June at the advocacy rally in downtown Pittsburgh. But the rain didn't stop people from coming out to the event. And once the speeches began, we were reminded of why we were there.
The theme for 2012 Pittsburgh Pride celebration is Pride in the Name of Love. And one that's perfectly clear to me: we must be united, we must be proud, full equality is coming, and we're winning this fight. And as we continue our fight, let's remember that people who have come before us, of those who have fought, rallied, shouted from the rooftops, endured terrible hardships so that we express ourselves like no generation has ever done before.
And I really can't think of anything that allows us to say that we're welcoming and we want companies to be here is to show that we have a diverse economy, that we're diverse by race, that we're diverse by gender, by sexual orientation, that we are welcoming of the new economy, and we see that happening in our community. And the fact is, we continue to be so.
Well, I think I'm most excited that everybody who attends Pride, whether they are lesbian, gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, whoever attends has a really good time and feels absolutely comfortable, open, and free on the streets of Pittsburgh, and attends all the events that they choose to, that this wonderful committee has put together to celebrate both the freedom, the dignity, the love, and the rights of our people.
And others in attendance seem to share the same view.
For me, I came out when I was 16. I'm 24 now. I'm a graduate student at Pitt, and I lived in a pretty rural area, and this is actually my first time being at a major Pride event. I'm really excited just because you don't often see a lot of confirmation of who we are as a community, a lot of support for who we love and how we exist in this world. So I think it's mostly just important to me to have a place where I can feel comfortable with who I am and feel unafraid to express that, because there have been times in my life when I definitely couldn't.
I work at Point Park University, so I've been involved just having my students see me around and being really supportive of their community. So it's more about showing that you're supportive than necessarily my own sort of comfortability, because though I'm bisexual, I'm not necessarily not out and proud, but I more focus on what I can do for other people than my own personal feelings about it.
Several people from different walks of life attended, but one of the most interesting stories came from a young man named Sebastian. Sebastian is from Germany.
So in Germany it used to be the law that you have to do a voluntary service or military service after you graduate from high school, and obviously I decided to do a voluntary service. And so I was looking for a group in Germany which sends students abroad. I was fascinated by the US since forever. And I found one organization, and they had a big project pool, and one of the projects was the Delta Foundation of Pittsburgh, the LGBT project here, and that's why I ended up here.
After chatting for a while, I then asked Sebastian what Pride means to him.
So the biggest project of the Delta Foundation is the Pittsburgh Pride, and Pride is, everything started back in New York when gay and lesbian people were oppressed by the police, by everyone basically, and Pride is just a way to show pride in who we are. So I think it's the best way to show everyone, all straight people, also the haters who hate LGBT people, that we are proud of who we are, that we are not different than anyone else, and that's what Delta and the Pride means to me.
A major moment for the rally was when the rainbow flag was raised, officially marking the start of Pride 2012.
I just felt like I was finally a part of something bigger. You know, like I wasn't just Ashley, the lesbian from Beaver County. I was a part of something bigger at that moment. And that was a true moment of realization for me, of just like, this isn't just me. This is the entire community. This is us around the world. This is that symbol that represents us. And there it is, flying in my city and where I'm from. You know what I mean? It's there with pride. And that was amazing.
And the rally was just the beginning. It got me to thinking that I had to find others who worked hard to make this day possible. Another organization that participates in Pride and makes a difference in the community. This led me to the PERSAD Center in Pittsburgh and their executive director, Betty Hill.
Well, you know, PERSAD was, a couple of ways I describe PERSAD. I think PERSAD is a really unique and interesting. It's like a small but very complicated organization. And some of that comes from the fact that everything we do is about this whole community of people. And so when your mission is to help a community, you go wherever they take you. You know, and you follow whatever needs there are for that whole group. And so you end up doing lots of different kinds of things, which is a little bit different than organizations that are centered around a problem.
While there, I also learned that PERSAD has a very interesting history.
I'd also describe PERSAD as unique in its pioneering spirit. I mean, the fact that it is the nation's second oldest, which I think is fascinating, to be here in Pittsburgh as the nation's second oldest gay counseling center. I mean, there's a lot of places I'd have put the gay counseling center besides Pittsburgh, PA, back in 1972. And we follow Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Community Center, which makes a little more sense to me. But I'm thinking, you know, San Francisco, New York, you know, some of you would expect. But yet it was Pittsburgh, and largely because of our founders who were ahead of their time. You know, they were 23 and 24 years old at the time, and they decided that you know, there were not services available to people that weren't mean-spirited or were not discriminating. Back in 1972, homosexuality was considered a pathology in the Diagnostic Manual of Mental Illness. So if people went to get counseling, what people tried to do was to change them or tell them that they were wrong, or that it was the fact that they were gay that was the source of all their problems. And this place was established to say, nope, we're going to affirm people and who they are, and then we're going to help them with whatever problems they happen to have. And so I think that's the spirit of PERSAD, is that sort of positive, affirming, non-judgmental, and creatively responding to needs organization.
For Betty, her work at PERSAD is a reflection of what she'd like to see in the world. Growing up when she did as a lesbian, she realizes how the times have changed and wants to be a part of helping those changes.
Well, I am a member of the LGBT community. I identify as lesbian, and you know, my partner and I have been together since Pood was a pup, you know, so for a long time. And so I certainly have I feel a personal responsibility as well as interest in helping my own community. I think my work in other human services has led me to see how even good-hearted mainstream organizations sometimes miss the boat when it comes to this minority population, and we're not where we need to be. And there's still a lot of problems that occur because people are just not as open and welcoming as they could be in the roles that they're in. Yes, I am inspired by the work. I think, and I know that the people that work at PERSAD are. You know, the work that people do here is not a job for them. It is a lifestyle. It's a mission for them, and because they work way too hard and way too many hours for it simply to be a job. So, you know, I'm certain of the impact that we have. I get to see it very much on an individual basis, you know, when you have heard the stories of people who come and kind of the many things that they've been through, and they find a place or a space where they feel at home and comfortable, and then they can come into their own, you know, that's a good thing. So in all those ways, I feel really honored and blessed to be able to be a part of here. Yeah.
After sharing more amazing stories with Betty and a great day at PERSAD, I began thinking about the importance of other people's stories. I mean, mine is not the most important.
I mean, it was everything she said. Especially talking to another, like, she was really one of the only lesbians that I sat down with and spoke with. And so to really get her story, I mean, you see a lot of yourself reflected in it, and I think she saw a lot of herself reflected in me growing up, and I'm trying to, you know, get out there and be a leader at 21. Maybe it wasn't possible for her. So it was just that everything she said was something I could identify with, and everything I was doing she can identify with, and it blended.
This film is for anyone in the community and letting their voice be heard. But where can a girl turn in the week of filming? Well, it's a funny thing when fate steps in. Meet Bill and Donna Paulin, a happily married couple in Moon Township. But they're a little bit more of a modern family. Bill is gay, and while they may have an unorthodox partnership, their relationship is as normal as anyone's.
We worked together, and I had a relationship, and I had, like, I was always in the bars too much and things like that, and I had a relationship that had gone bad. In the meantime, she had 4 kids and gone through a very bad divorce, and we started working together, and we became absolute best friends. The first day trip we took somewhere, that night our cheeks hurt so bad from laughing.
We just carried each other's problems back and forth to each other. If I had a problem, I know he could help me to handle it. If he had one, I could help him to handle it. We had similar interests. We traveled a lot. We saw things you know, most people don't get to see because of our jobs. He got used to being around children, and lots of times gay people don't really want to be around the kids. You know, they've got their own life to lead, but he did very well with them and with grandchildren. So, I mean, we've done weddings and graduations and normal things that normal families do, because life can be that way.
It's like, this just isn't going to work, you know, and we just struggled with it, but we kept having fun, and then we spent about 5 or 6 years discussing why this would never work, and that's been, what, 27 years ago? So we were best friends, and we built upon that, and then we realized we could never be apart.
But Bill's story actually goes back to before he and Donna met.
Okay, my mom used to go to a laundromat. She'd go to this laundromat right across the street. They were building this big shopping center. And I would always love to go and get out there in the sand with my cars and trucks, and Mom would let me play out there while she was in the laundromat. And I always knew that she was behind me, behind this all-glass window. And I enjoyed looking at the men. I was admiring the men with their shirts off, which wouldn't be any big deal because a boy likes soldiers and cowboys and things like that. But I knew that the way I was looking at them was wrong, so I would look down like I'm playing with my cars and trucks and have my head tilted because I was actually looking at them. And I didn't want anybody to see that I was looking at them. And I know from when that shopping center was built, where we lived at the time, that was actually the summer before kindergarten. Of course, there's no puberty or nothing like that, but the thought was there. There was something already going on.
Bill came out at age 18 and found many struggles that still occur today for gay youth.
The biggest thing was you always feel that you're not right, that you're wrong. I mean, you grew up with Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver. There was no gay role models. There were no TV shows and things like they have now. And just feeling normal.
Like me, Bill didn't find pride until later in life.
The first Pride was when I still managed a bar in Houston called JR's, and that was 1982. And then I moved to Dayton, Ohio, and then later when I came to Pittsburgh, I want to say around 10 or 12 years ago, the little Pride event I found out they had out near Shadyside on Ellsworth, I went out there.
Donna also enjoys being a part of Pride.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun because over the years we've made lots and lots of friends, and it's an opportunity to get together with all those friends, to see the things that they enjoy, to do things even away from Pride. You know, during Pride, that's all well and good, but even outside of Pride, to do things with all of our gay friends. And I'm the first to say I have more happy friends in this world than I have straight friends, because I just do. Pride is so much fun.
Bill loves having his family and Donna there to support him.
It's very important. It's very good. I wouldn't have it any other way. We're in love. And like I said, we're best friends. Our relationship may be different than some others because of the fact that I'm gay. That's never been a problem. It hasn't been. We work around that. My 4 stepkids, our grandkids, most of them know. The whole family knows.
And to Bill, that support is a big part of Pride.
But having the support is tremendous. And it's nothing to flaunt. It's nothing that, like Pride. Pride is wanting to be just accepted. We want it to be no big deal. We participate in everything everybody else does. We just want to fit in, and we want the same rights too. It's very important. You want to feel safe.
Listening to Bill's story had me even more excited for Pride, and it was only days away. But there was another event that weekend that I was certainly sad to miss.
I'm going to the Melissa Etheridge concert at Pride in the Streets next Saturday.
This year's going to be Melissa Etheridge. She's fantastic.
I'm also excited for Melissa Etheridge.
It's about Melissa Etheridge, a rock and roll superstar who happens to be out and proud lesbian, who has chosen Pittsburgh to perform at her first gay Pride event.
That's right, I missed the Melissa Etheridge concert of Pride 2012. And trust me, I'm not really letting myself live that one down.
You bring an act like Melissa Etheridge. She's only a Grammy winner. Like, come on. But another reason was they weren't so cool about me bringing a video camera into the Melissa Etheridge concert. Something about copyright laws. Apparently they're a big deal once you've won a couple Grammys. I don't know. But that's how that worked out.
The show was Melissa Etheridge's first ever Pride event, and it was held in Pittsburgh. I mean, talk about making history, not only for the LGBTQ community, but for music in general. And I missed it. And I'm not bitter about it or anything, but man, I missed rock history. But even though I was probably the only one who missed the concert, a wonderful new day was coming next. The day I would attend my first Pride parade. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was nervous.
The car ride there was just, we woke up really early, me, my dad, and my sister, to go, and I remember just the entire car ride feeling nauseous. So I woke up that day feeling like, this is it. This is the day where I break something, or I lose something, or something. I just feel it. And then I realized all that was excitement.
Leading up to this, everyone told me Pride was going to be fun. Boy, was that an understatement.
I've been to only 3. This has been the best so far.
There's a lot of people out. I've seen a lot of people I know, and it's good. It's fun.
It means a lot to me because it brings people together, and I think that people should be happy whatever they choose to whoever they want to be with.
It's everyone is represented. Every part of the community is represented, and it's this huge, beautiful thing. And we're just all a part of it. To know that you're all there for the same reason, everyone's just there to celebrate, is just, it's wow.
And just about everyone came out for the event. No pun intended.
Support the LGBT community. Thank you.
I think it's gone really well. You know, it's really nice because it's gotten a lot bigger over even the last 5 years. And like with Obama coming out about gay marriage, and then Luke Ravenstahl, you know, the mayor of Pittsburgh, coming out and supporting gay marriage, and actually all the news media covering it, I think that's like a really good thing.
But even in all of this celebration, we were met with hate.
I was there with 2 of my friends, and we noticed the protesters almost as soon as Pride Fest was starting. And I knew they'd be there. A part of me just knew. This is a huge celebration. Naturally, someone is going to be there to tear it down. It's just how it is. I looked, it was kind of off to the side. They weren't allowed in the festival, obviously. But I saw them and I said, I need to capture them.
God hates haters! God hates haters!
Yeah, it says if you stand take a picture and the camera gets broken, you live your whole life right, you die, and you stand that day, you're going to die, you're going to tell. That's the book of Ezekiel.
It doesn't say anything about hell.
Yeah, that says you die.
Hell at all.
Yeah, it says you die. You die when you sin.
The Old Testament does not mention hell. It mentions shield. It mentions the great, Jews do not believe in hell. Jews do not believe in hell.
Yeah, Isaiah speaks of a place where worms don't die
They
and
do
the
not
fire
believe
is
in hell.
They
do not believe in hell.
They want to take pictures.
I have never experienced someone hating me for being gay. I've never experienced it. I've always been given a hug, and of course I love you and I support you. So to have these people there to just basically tell me I'm going to hell for being who I am, it's a reality check. It's a reality check that the world isn't always going to be understanding.
Why are you standing here arguing with us? You want to be homosexual so badly? In the Bible, thou shalt not lie.
Liars! Stop Christians, they shove a guy, they lie to the cops saying they shove him. You're liars! Liars!
And partake in your filthy perversion. You don't have to stand here with us. You can walk away anytime.
It's one of those moments that you'll never forget, but at the same time, you just wish it would go away.
The scene was broken up moments later by police, and while seeing the protesters was upsetting, it certainly wasn't enough to rain on this parade.
It has this pulse, and you just feel it when you're in there. It's so intense to be a part of that parade, because there's so much joy and so much. It's just so big. And you can't envision it that big. You have to see it that big, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful to watch all. And there were mothers, in the street saying, "I'm proud of my gay son." Just things like that. Just those little things, or those big things like huge floats and just people going crazy and throwing candy and just dancing in the streets. There were literally just flag twirlers everywhere, and everyone was so free. And so watching that just pass you by casually is it's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
And the performances were marvelous. Once things settled down, I took the opportunity to ask people what Pride meant to them.
GLBT issues have always been a part of who I am and who my family is, and I think it's important that people can love who they want to love, regardless of color, gender, age, and any other thing, barrier to prevent love. All about free love.
Pride means to me walking outside of your house, tall, high, mighty, you ain't gonna let no one tell you any difference. We're all people. Pride's about loving everyone, equality, don't hate, discriminate. We're all the same people. We're all human beings. We all came from the same thing. So that's what Pride means to me, being tall, living life at the largest even though you're small.
We've come a long ways. a long ways, and I made that journey with everybody. However, I see more acceptance. I see things changing all the way around. On a political basis, we have gotten more rights than we've ever had, and I want to see them continue. Our young people need to know what it was to fight to get here, and also that fight took a lot of lives. So it means a lot to me to see it keep moving in the right direction and for us to do what we need to do.
Well, we are here at the Unitarian Universalist Church booth. We marched in the parade, but we want all of our gay friends and neighbors to know that they're most welcome at the Unitarian Church.
Not being afraid to hold your boyfriend's hand outside.
Yeah, because we live in Beaver Falls.
That place is gangsta. Like, I feel like if I were to walk down holding his hand, I'd get shot. So, and being here, it's so comfortable. It's like I don't have to be afraid. So.
I wish it was all the time. I wish we could have this kind of fun on a regular basis. Unfortunately, you know, we only can do it once a year. So I really miss it.
One thing that stood out to me at Pride was all of the families that were in the street to celebrate that day. And one of them was mine.
I was standing with my dad. We were with all my friends. And everyone was around me like, whoa, we just saw Pride Parade. And we were going into Pride Fest. And I pointed the camera at my dad really spontaneously. And I was like, so Dad, are you happy to be here? And he said, yeah, I'm having a really good time.
I think it was fantastic.
Yes, I'll be back next year.
I didn't know Pittsburgh could do it like this.
And I don't know where this question even came from me, but I looked at him and I said, are you proud of me? And he looked at me and he put his arm around my sister, and they both looked into the camera and he goes,
I'm very proud to have you, my friend. You're my hero.
That was, I mean, being a part of Pride was very important to me, but to bring my father in on it was a big step. I made this mostly with him in mind, about delivering a message of understanding, of just making it easier for someone like him, whether it's to understand your child or for someone like me to understand themselves, and to have him just look at me and not only be proud of me, but to say that I'm his hero for what I do. I don't think it gets more moving than that. Yeah.
So after a week of celebration and filming, did I finally get the education I was looking for? I think with complete and total honesty, I can answer that with a resounding yes.
Do you have advice for those who are considering going to Pride, attending Pride?
Go with an open mind and go with just know that you're going to have fun. Know that it is going to be at times emotional, that it could be the hottest day of the year, so prepare for that. But and go because it means something to you, because that's when you'll really feel it, you know. Granted, anyone can go to Pride, but go because it means something to you, because you will feel it the minute you walk through that street and you just see it all.
And I really have to thank the others that helped me on this journey, like Betty, Sebastian, and Bill and Donna. But while this experience taught me a lot about myself and the culture that I claim, I know I still have a lot to learn. Guess I'll just have to come back next year.